Hey everyone, welcome to the RotoGrinders Morning Grind Podcast. I'm your host, Stevietpfl. It's Monday. It's June 19th. It's 2023. 7 baseball games to talk about here on today's podcast. Joined today by my good buddy, Will Priester, ChiefJustice06. Chief, happy Father's Day, my friend.
Same to you, brother. Such an interesting thing, man. Being a father, and on Mother's Day, I know the mothers get a lot of hype and a lot of really cool gifts and dinners. But I just want to say, man, thank you to all the fathers, man, for just stepping up, being a part of the Good Guy team. And I am thrilled to be on yet another podcast with you, man. It's just always a good time.
Yes, sir. There's nothing better than Sunday night music, getting the morning grind music pumping through your veins, hanging out with my good buddy, Will. Glad you had a great Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers over there in YouTube chat, hanging out with us here on Sunday night. If you're listening on Monday, hope you had a fantastic Father's Day on Sunday. I'm hot. We went out on the boat. We took the little man or the kids out on the boat, so it was fun. Good time with some family, and finished the day off grilling out. Man, it was a non-NASCAR weekend. It was nice. I feel super refreshed. Usually when I come on here on Sunday night, I'm on about 2 hours of sleep the night before, so I feel super refreshed for baseball. And that's always good. You need a break every once in a while. So let's get into it, man. We got 7 games. It's a really interesting slate. We got some high-end pitching. We have some potential cheap pitching. We'll call it that. I think it's fair. Chicago, Cubs, Pittsburgh, Pirates, 9 total in this game. We got Drew Smyly going up against Osvaldo Bido, pitching here for Pittsburgh. Going to be his second start of the year, and made his debut last week against the Cubs. So back-to-back starts here against Chicago. We'll start here with Drew Smyly. Any interest in Smyly going up against Pittsburgh?
Not going to be a hard no, Stevie, but Pittsburgh's been playing okay this season. Just going to be a soft out pass.
I think we're going to find better options. It's so funny because, this is the same spot last week where me and Tasteful Tides debated Drew Smyly, and I said I think that there's better options, and I feel the same way today. Smyly has been getting touched up a little bit more here recently. The strikeout stuff and some of the swinging strikes that we saw early in the year have kind of just dissipated. So I think overall, I think this is a spot I'll probably stay away from Drew Smyly, like the ballpark. If some stuff changes and maybe I end up on Smyly, but as of right now, I just don't think this is a spot I'm going to play Drew Smyly. Looking at the other one here, other side of this game, Bido, second start. I looked, and he's not like a huge prospect or anything. Slider, sinker, fastball-ish, changeup type of guy. 55 innings in AAA this season. 13.6% swinging strikes with only a 23.5% K rate. Ground ball rate, fly ball rate, very neutral. Home run rate, walk rate's a little higher than we like to see. Any interest here at 5,600? He looks like he has some strikeout stuff, but I'm always a little concerned about especially a rookie pitcher that made his debut 5 days ago, facing the same team now. So same spot, so that always concerns me.
Yeah, and typically for me too, Stevie, that's definitely a concern of mine. I think the price does negate some of what I would perceive as the risk that I guess I would take. Because he's 5,600, I don't think he gets 6 strikeouts again. The Cubs do strike out, don't get me wrong. But even if he pitched 5 innings, 4 strikeouts, gave up a run, that still might be enough at his price. So that's kind of where I am. If he was 7,600, I'd be on the fade. I think the price is the only thing that has me slightly interested, but I am with you. I don't like taking any pitchers facing the same team in 5 days. I don't like it at all.
Yeah, and Bellinger's back, so the lineup has gotten better here over the weekend. Bellinger being back is a huge thing. Wisdom went on the IL on, I think, Saturday is when I got the alert. So,
well, he strikes out at about 40% anyway. So,
yeah, but I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're getting a guy that has been struggling strikeout wise out of the lineup now. So, I mean, it hurts potentially a little bit. So, I mean, the power numbers have been way down for the Cubs. If we look at recent stats on the year, they're, I would say probably a little bit above average power number wise against right-handed pitching, but they've been really hit or miss here recently. And I think that if you wanted to take shots on Bitto, I'm not going to talk you off of it, especially in this ballpark. Let's talk Cubs bats. Anything standing out to you here for Chicago?
I mean, I guess I don't mind some one-offs. Like, I mean, you talked about Bellinger, he's 4,900, coming back into the fold. He played today. So I don't hate that call. He's been pretty good this season overall. Maybe some Talkman, he's cheap enough. But I don't want to stack the Cubs. Maybe I go with some 2 or 3 mans. I think that's what I do with the Cubs today. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a full stack for me. Like Tauchman, like you mentioned, 2,500, potential cheap outfielder alert. I will say this. Bellinger grades out very well in this spot. He is a guy that smashes sinkers. We talked about that, for the last couple of years when he was with the Dodgers. He's a guy that smashes sinkers. Ballpark, don't love it. Do I like the matchup? Do I like the potential hitter-batter both profile type of matchup? I do like it a lot. So, yeah, I mean, we've yet to see him kind of get rolling here in the 3 games that he's been back. But, I mean, this is a spot that could really be a good spot for him. So,
yeah.
Pittsburgh side of this game, I mean, I'll keep saying it. Connor Joe has been great against left-handed pitching this season. He's a guy that obviously presents some really nice value here at his price point. So I like that. 410 WOBA, 182 ISO since the start of last season against left-handed pitching, 309 ISO, 452 WOBA against left-handed pitching this season. Castro has been fantastic against left-handed pitching this season. So I don't think the Pittsburgh Pirates by any means is a stack here, but I don't mind maybe some of these cheap pieces of that, just kind of help fill the salary saver role.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, Steve. I kind of like him today. I
Smiley
think
has been a lot more hittable recently.
Yeah, that's kind of where I am. It's like, well, if he's kind of trending in the opposite direction, we do have a Pittsburgh team that's, I mean, Stevie, and it's not just in the record either. Like, this has been the best team in this division. It's crazy, but they've essentially been the best team. I mean, I think McCutchen being there is helping. Reynolds and Santana being there. And look, these guys aren't like the elite, guys that they were back in the day. But I think just this veteran presence in the clubhouse has really helped this team. I think I want to stack Pittsburgh today against a struggling Smiley now. And see what we have. And like you said, they're cheap enough, and I can get top-end pitching with this stack. I like Pittsburgh today. Maybe not a primary. Let me say that. Maybe a secondary. But I do think I'm going to stack them at least 4 deep.
Yeah, I will say just really quick that the weather potential, there's a little bit of weather potential for this game. The slate is a lot different here in this next game we're about to talk about if the weather does impact that game. I mean, early models, again, I'm not Kevin Roth, but early models show a lot of rain potential in that Cincinnati, Colorado game. And that's a game that's going to have a high total that is going to have a lot of potential for runs scored. So I think if we look at, let's go to it, right? Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Colorado at Cincinnati. We have Gomber going up against Williamson here. Let's talk. There's no total out for this game yet, but let's talk Gomber first. Very tilting last start out against Boston. Boston was chalk, massive chalk that day, and they just didn't get the job done. Let's just call it that. Like,
the whole Colorado pitching staff looked freaking like Cy Young contenders against Boston.
3 terrible.
I couldn't believe it. Seabold, Gomber, Anderson, all of them. Yeah. I said, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me.
Imagine being a Red Sox fan and watching that. It wasn't fun. It wasn't a fun series. So, I mean, but okay. Listen, Cincinnati's one of the hottest offenses in baseball right now.
Oh, boy.
They finally called up some of these guys that have talent, and
Yeah.
I mean, they're definitely playing a lot better. If you look at their numbers over the last 30 days compared to their season numbers, they're way higher. I don't think this is a spot we played Gomber, even though he had that tilting Chase Anderson star. It wasn't Chase Anderson. It was like Chase Anderson, Seabold, and Gomber. Oh my gosh, it was.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
I mean, I could. I mean, the Red Sox, yeah. But Gomber comes into this game, 15% Ks. He's a guy that has a 259 ISO, 400 WOBA on the season. I just don't think this is a spot we want to play Gomber.
And I'm not playing Gomber. Hard, no. Hard.
Yeah. Any interest here in Brandon Williamson on the other side of this game?
Colorado is a team I've been attacking, Stevie, just because.
Especially with lefties, man.
Yeah, it's like. So the thing is, with all these guys missing, Bryant, Blackman, let me make sure Blackman, I think Blackman's still, yeah, Bryant, Blackman, Crone, and then there's another guy that's kind of been in and out, but I don't think it's the worst play in the world. I don't know if I get there today, but if you said you want to play him against Colorado, I'm not going to try to convince you out of it for what it's worth. I don't think I get there today. But I understand the logic behind it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those spots, right? Colorado has been the worst team by far against left-handed pitching this season. Absolutely atrocious against left-handed pitching. You mentioned a bunch of these guys being out. Definitely helps the spot overall. Will, I'm just struggling here. Williamson is a guy that hasn't shown big strikeout stuff in the minors. He hasn't shown big strikeout stuff in the majors this year. Even last year in AAA, his strikeout rate was under 20%. I just worry about the strikeouts. He's not a huge prospect. He doesn't have overpowering stuff. This game's in the Great American Small Park. I mean, there's so many reasons not to play Williamson outside of price and matchup. I mean, you have a guy that has not been great facing the worst team in baseball against left-handed pitching. It's very interesting, but I don't think I get there on Williamson today. Let's talk some Rockies bats.
Yeah.
This is where it gets interesting, right? Because of the ballpark. I mean, if you're going out of Coors Field, this is one of the ballparks you're like, hey, it's a downgrade, but it's not that much of a downgrade. Also, trying very hard not to tilt the Gator game right now and pay attention to you guys, not look over here and tilt. Fun tilt for anybody watching on YouTube. All right. Tolver is someone that is somewhat interesting here in this matchup. He's had decent numbers against left-handed pitching this season. I want to make sure he's in the lineup. His wife went into labor on Sunday, and he got taken out of the lineup against Atlanta. So he might not even be in the lineup. It's just this lineup potentially going to be really bad. But I do want to say Grichuk, just a fantastic spot for Grichuk. Bases loaded, 1 out. Oh, down. We're up by 2. But, man. All right, Will, talk to me here. Grichuk at 3,900 is one of my favorite plays on the slate.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much took the words out of my mouth. If I'm going to play anybody from Colorado in this spot, definitely Randall Grichuk. I'm even thinking back to Randall Grichuk when he was in St. Louis, Steve. I'm sure you remember those days, the St. Louis days. And
yep.
Then we had him, I think, in Toronto, now Colorado. So, I mean,
double play.
Oh
my gosh.
I think he's going to be fine. But that's about it for me, Steve. I'm just – the problem is they essentially should score runs if the weather is okay in this ballpark. But this offense has been so – I don't want to say bad. They have scored – they did score runs in the Atlanta series. We were just better. But I don't like Colorado as an offense overall. But I'm with you on Grichuk.
2 outs, first and third, up by 1. Let's talk Cincinnati. Gomber is a guy that I like to pick on And I know that like the Red Sox struggled big time against him last time out. A lot of interest in McLean in this spot. He's been great against left-handed pitching.
McLean's been one of my favorites from the new Cincinnati squad. Actually,
what stinks is like he used to be like the best pivot off of De La Cruz because they were both only a shortstop. And then, I mean, it doesn't stink. Let's be honest. It's nice that we can play both of them now. But I mean, Steer, the pricing on Cincinnati has caught up a little bit. Senzel's still cheap. Stevenson's still cheap. I feel like we could still make the stack work. But if this game does not rain out, I love the Reds in this spot.
Yeah, no, this is a good spot. And I mean, I think you talked about it. What I do like about this, Stevie, is in terms of how you kind of want to strategize this team, you can get De La Cruz at third and shortstop, McLean at second or shortstop, and then you can get Steer at first or outfield. You can get Senzel at third or outfield. So you've got ways to kind of really make this team work and still get in some other pieces from other games. So that's what I like about the new setup, because at one point we had McLean and De La Cruz only at shortstop. And so now to be able to kind of flip them around a little bit, I think is a really good thing here. And so I think if I stack this team, I'm for sure playing De La Cruz and McLean. And then, after that, it's kind of like, well, where do we end up? Now, Friedel is a guy, and I know this is a lefty spot, but we can only get him at the outfield. But I don't care. Like, he's been another guy that's let off and is playing pretty well. So I like this team overall. They're just a really good team. Once again, we don't have too many of the 3K guys anymore, but all of them are still under 5K with the exception of De La Cruz at 5,200. So I still really like this team a ton.
Yeah, if any of the lefties crack the line at Fraley, Friedel, don't be afraid to play them. A lot of right-handed arms in that Colorado bullpen. Gators won. I'm not going to get distracted anymore. Man, they really tried to lose that game. Semifinals, baby. We got to lose twice now. Anyway, sorry. Our football team's been terrible. I have to root for something.
Yeah.
So, Boston at Minnesota. Coming off of a Sunday doubleheader sweep of the Yankees. Love to see it. 8 total in this game. Twins a 125 favorite. Got Crawford against Lopez. Or no, Paxton's pitching. I forgot they changed that.
Yeah, he is.
Let's talk James Paxton first. The strikeout stuff looks fantastic.
Oh, man.
I still wouldn't say that it's like old James Paxton. And I don't know if like we'll ever get old James Paxton again. But, dude, 37% Ks against right-handed hitters this season. And now, like, it's getting up there. Like, we're now at 86 plate appearances against right-handed hitters. Still the struggles with, like, power becomes an issue. And, he'll have a walk or two from time to time. But, I mean, if we're just playing, like, straight ceiling for, like, strikeouts, this guy has to be in the conversation about that against pretty much anybody at this point.
Yeah, and Stevie, no better matchup to test your mettle against Minnesota. I mean,
yeah.
Behind Colorado, strikeouts galore with this team.
27.6%, second highest in baseball.
Exactly. Like this is not an exaggeration, folks. Like James Paxton essentially should have a really good game. And because with Luis Arias going to Miami, I mean, they don't have anybody to really negate any type of strikeout potential. Like the whole team's striking out pretty much. Stevie, James Paxton is probably, in my opinion, one of the highest upside plays on the slate. Now, once again, Minnesota has some power sprinkled in, but I think this is an elite strikeout spot for James Paxton today. I mean, we've seen him now, Stevie, consistently, not once or twice, consistently pick up 8 to 9 strikeouts out of his last few starts. I mean, he had 9, 5, 5, 8, 9, 8. And then the pitch counts outside of the one start at 59, he's been pretty much at 100 every game. Like, I can't in my right mind not take James Paxton today. He's really one of my favorite plays on the slate. Like, so much a favorite.
Yeah, I like this spot for Paxton. a lot. Before we talk Pablo Lopez on the other side of this, just want to say congrats to Richie Smalls in chat. Came in second in the FanDuel $4.44 today. That's that's a huge tournament to finish second in. Missed first by 0.65.
Is that 10K? Was it 25K up top? 10K to second?
Oh, I don't know.
Is that how they break it down now? Either way, nice payday.
Hopefully it was a good one. I think it's like 5K to first nowadays and like 2 or 1, something like that. It's so much smaller.
What are you doing?
No, they like the squeeze or whatever. They moved the squeeze from like that $2, $3 tournament to like a $6, $7 tournament, and it's like 25 and 10. That's the tournament you're thinking. So, Pablo Lopez going up against my Sox.
Congrats, Richie. Sorry, I didn't say my congrats.
You're good. What are your thoughts here on Pablo Lopez against the Red Sox?
So Pablo has probably been, Stevie, about as close to consistent of a pitcher this season as it comes. Strikeouts have been there. You know, he's pretty much, for the most part, has been an automatic 20 fantasy point guy almost every game. And I think, you know, that's kind of what you're looking for. If you want it to be safe, he's cheaper than Paxton. I don't think he has as much strikeout upside as Paxton in this spot. I know we saw Colorado just kind of mow down the Red Sox, and Lopez is better than all those pitchers they face. I think Lopez is a steady 20 fantasy points, and if you're okay with that, I think you can take him. I would absolutely play Paxton over Lopez, but like I understand, he's been really consistent this season.
I have no issues playing either one of these guys or both of them together. I am never a person that will talk you off of playing two pitchers against each other in the same game. I know you limit your win potential potentially, but I mean, if you have two good pitchers in a good matchup, I have no issues with doing it. I think Pablo Lopez is fine today. I like Paxton more.
Yeah, me too.
There's a pitcher that I like more than Lopez that's a little bit more money that we'll get to. I think there's some tournament shots that you could potentially take in the same range as well. So, I mean, I think Lopez is fine. I'm not lining up to play the Red Sox bats against him for what it's worth. I mean, the top half of the Red Sox lineup still very good. Verdugo, low strikeout guy. Justin Turner's been a low strikeout guy. Devers is just one of the best hitters in baseball. Adam Duvall, under 21% this season. Yoshida is a low strikeout guy. Christian Arroyo, who's come back, and he's been putting the ball in play a ton, not striking out. So, I mean, it's one of those matchups where there's not a ton of power in this lineup, but they're not going to strike out a lot. So it's a tough spot for me to get super excited about Lopez. It's also a spot where I don't want to get super excited about the Red Sox bats. Honestly, nothing really jumping off the page to me. Justin Turner continues to be cheap on DraftKings. He's now third base eligible, which is nice. He's been hitting the ball really well here recently. I don't mind him, but overall, I mean, playing Justin Turner over Devers and Stacks is the only thing you have to do to make your Red Sox stack different. I don't like the Red Sox stack today against Lopez for what it's worth.
Yeah, I kind of don't want to play any bats in this game, really. Like I said, I'm already going to kind of play some stacks at Pittsburgh just because I like the Smiley matchup. Obviously, we want to see what we've got with Colorado, Cincinnati. I do have, my favorite stack is going to come up later in the pod. So, Boston, Minnesota kind of be on the outside looking in for me today. I
don't mind Correa at 4,700. He's throughout his career has been good against left-handed pitching. Paxton still has a struggle with power. I don't mind Correa as a one-off. Arizona at Milwaukee. Kelly and Burns facing off against each other. 7.5 total in this game. Milwaukee, a 125 favorite. Let's talk Merrill Kelly first. Any interest in him here going up against Milwaukee?
I think he's in the mix. Like, he's not my favorite pitcher today, but he's been pretty steady this season as well. K rate in the mid-20s. And, there are some strikeouts in the Milwaukee lineup as well. At 9,600, I don't like him more than Paxton. I don't think I like him more than Pablo, but I don't with him and Pablo, it's like 1A, 1C, maybe. Like he's not quite 1B for me, but maybe 1C. So he's in the pool for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom half of this lineup has really struggled this year. I think that Kelly is super playable in large field tournaments. If you're going to be someone that is throwing a bunch of lineups at a tournament and you're trying to take it down, Kelly might just be that guy that like flies under the radar in this spot and can put up 30 fantasy points or more. So I think that's where Kelly's super interesting. He's having a really fantastic season.
He is.
27.5% Ks. His biggest issue has been his walks. If he could get the walk rate down just a little bit, he would start to climb into like ace elite tier. I think he's kind of borderline ace like tier right now.
Yeah.
So I think he's fine. He's going to get 100 plus pitches if he's pitching well. The walks are the biggest issue when you're looking at him. And honestly, this is a patient offense. They walk a lot. So it's a boom bust spot in my opinion. I could see him having a monster game here. Corbin Burns, the strikeout stuff has looked good for Burns here recently.
Just come back.
Yeah, we've been talking about it here this last couple starts. Slow start to the year. Big time slow start. Arizona's a good offense. One of the toughest offenses in baseball for right-handed pitching. They still rank top 10 in WRC plus, ISO, strikeouts. I think they still have the second and third lowest strikeout rate in baseball against right-handed pitching.
Yeah.
What are we doing to a day with Burns?
Love Burns. I love the fact that he's come back. And it feels like he's kind of getting back to being the Milwaukee Brewers ace that he should be, especially with Woodruff just kind of out for now. Stevie, I can't play Corbin Burns today, though. Like Arizona, I don't think people understand. Like Arizona has really been limiting upside for a lot of these pitchers. And so Burns is, when he's on, he's a top-tier guy. I'm going to take the fade on him today against Arizona. I don't think he has enough strikeouts to catapult him to the top of the list for the price.
Yeah, I mean, I think I like Kelly more on the other side of this game.
Right. Exactly.
Like, if we're just comparing like matchups, I think that like Kelly is in a better matchup. Burns has just as much ceiling as any pitcher on this slate, if not the highest ceiling on this slate. Especially with like the strikeouts recently. So, I mean, I'll get some exposure to Burns, like maybe 1 of 3. Kelly might be a 2 of 3, 1 of 3 type play. I have a lot of interest in Kelly for tournaments. The more I just think about this slate overall. Bats in this one. This is a tough one for bats. I mean, you can home run hunt with Arizona. It's just like they're somewhat pricey. Gary L would probably be my favorite like home run hunting type of play here for Arizona. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, because I mean Corbin Carroll's 5,300. My favorite if I was going to home run hunt is probably Pavin Smith at 3,100. I think that would be my favorite one off. And maybe I do get to Pavin, but outside of that, I don't think I'm going to play too much from Arizona today. It's not. They're going to limit Burns' upside, but I also think Burns will limit their upside as well in the base pass and being able to score some runs in bunches here.
Yeah, I will say like Gary L's power kind of lines up with like Burns' struggles this year. His struggles has been like right-handed power. Christian Walker, those type of plays are the plays that I'd be interested in from Arizona. Pavin Smith's cheap. I like that call. I prefer righties, but 3,100 for a guy that should hit leadoff.
That's what it is. It's 3,100 leadoff. That's all it is. Yep.
Any interest in the Milwaukee bats here?
I think I have a lot less interest in Milwaukee than I do Arizona.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. I don't think I can do it. Like
Adames Tellis?
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. With the walk issues, he walks either one of those guys like it could be an issue. But I don't want to stack Milwaukee.
No, I don't want
to. My two.
Yeah, I don't want to stack them. In Adames and Tellis, I mean, you could take shots on God. Who did they just signed from the Red Sox? He's not even. Is he even in player pool? Tapia? Yeah, he's in the player pool. He's 2,500. I mean, if he gets on base because of Corbin Burns' walks issues, he'll run. So potential there, but I mean, 7-game slate. I don't know if you're going to get there. All right, we got Texas at Chicago taking on the White
yes.
Sox. No total in this game. It'll be Heaney. And it sounds like it's going to be a bullpen game for the White Sox. Everything that I've read, bullpen game. Schultz is likely going to start. He threw an inning 2 days ago out of the bullpen the last 2 times. I think at most he goes like 50 to 60 pitches at most. So I mean it's a bullpen game. So
Yeah.
No total. I mean Vegas is kind of thinking the same here. So let's talk Heaney. Any interest in Heaney going up against the White Sox here?
I think we want Heaney to be a thing this year and every year, Stevie, because historically he has had some strikeout stuff. He's 7,500. I think he's just okay. Like, if you want to get him in your pool, great. But if you decide you want to take the fade, like, I'm cool with it. I think we have enough pitching to not have to rely on Andrew Heaney to help us win a tournament today or help us win a cash game at that. So I don't think I need Heaney today. I think I'm going to just take a stand and take the fade and let everybody else chase the ghost of Andrew Heaney.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so if we're under 8K and we're talking under 8K pitchers today, I think Heaney and Bitto, going back to that first game that we talked about, would probably be the 2 favorites. But I mean, I don't like, I mean, there's not a reason that I like either one of them. I'm just saying, like, Heaney offers some strikeout upside. There's some strikeouts in this Chicago lineup. It's a much better lineup here. It's starting to get healthier. But I mean, Robert strikes out a lot. Grandal strikes out a lot. Gavin Sheets, if he's in there, he strikes out a ton. As much as I like Jake Berger, he strikes out a ton. He has a ton of power too. Andrew strikes out a lot against lefties. So, I mean, there's plenty of strikeout upside here for Heaney. The only problem with like Andrew Heaney is he's going to walk some people, and a timely hit or two can just absolutely ruin his, 20 fantasy point day down to like 12. That's my biggest issue. Tournaments, you have to take those risks sometimes, especially when we're looking at a slate with not a ton of value pitching. We're not touching this White Sox situation, right? I mean, tough matchup against Texas, and bullpen games are the worst. So let's talk Texas bats. So I want guys that I think are good against both handiness, right? Anytime we have a bullpen type of game, that's what I'm looking for. Obviously, Corey Seager is expensive, and Texas is expensive overall for a bullpen type of spot. So as much as I like Texas, I probably underweight on them here. If I play them, it'd be like 1 of 3, potentially mini stack. I love this spot. I hate the pricing.
Yeah, and Stevie, that's kind of where I am. I'm hoping everybody kind of flocks away. Like, this is my favorite team to stack today. They're slightly too expensive when you've got Semien at 5,900 and Seager at 6K. And then even some of the secondary pieces like Nate Lowe is 4,100. You've got Jung at 4,400. You've got Heim at 4,200. You do have Grossman down here at 25, which as long as he corrects the lineup, that will help. And you've got Abigail Garcia at 5,400. So it's kind of like they're probably a little bit too expensive up top with Garcia, Seager, and Semien. And so then it just boils down to do I try to get in all 3? Do I maybe take 1 and take some other pieces? Do I try to get 2 in and take some other pieces? Maybe just kind of see how they got their lineup strategized. But this is one of my favorite teams on today. I'm hoping that most people just kind of, find a way to avoid them because of the pricing, because I really want to take some shots with this team. My top stack of the day by far.
Hey, man, I'm not going to talk you off of it by any means. White Sox bats. Anderson, it'd be interesting if he's back in the lineup or not, dealing with like a shoulder injury. That could potentially help Heaney. The one thing about the White Sox is they're cheap in this spot. So I think it's really interesting as like an overall stack here, just because of Heaney's walk issues and like maybe he gets ownership because there's just not a ton of value like we talked about. So if I play Heaney on 1 of 3, I might actually have a White Sox on 1 of 3 as well today. So I think this is a good spot overall for the White Sox against Heaney. If he's struggling, if he's on, good luck. But I mean, we get like Andrew Heaney A and Andrew Heaney B so much that it's so hard to say.
Yeah, the last time I tried to attack Andrew Heaney in a spot similar to this one, I think Andrew Heaney got like 10 Ks that day or 9. I can't remember who it was, but But he just kind of went slap off. But, Texas is a better team than the team he was facing, if I'm not mistaken. And so I like Texas. But in terms of the White Sox, I think if, let's say I'm running 150 lineups, I think I go 15% White Sox today, Stevie, for what it's worth.
Yeah.
And just kind of mix and match some power pieces and then kind of get to, some full-blown stats, because once again, if Heaney gets blown up, it's probably because of, like you talked about, the walk and then a timely long ball. And so I want all the exposure to all the big power hitters that I can get with this team. And even if he gave up 3 solo shots, Steve, if you got the right ones in a stack together combined, like, that's going to help you tremendously. So I'm in on the White Sox today against Heaney for sure. You talked about them getting healthy. I want to stack this team up top to bottom. Even some of the guys that haven't been hitting well, I want them in my lineup today.
Yeah, I mean, the more we go through this slate, the more I like it. I might run like a 20-entry max today, just because the slate seems really fun. It seems like a really fun slate to script a 20-entry max for. So
yeah,
I might dabble in a 20-entry max today, just because it looks fun. Fun slate. There's so many ways. We're not even done. We have 2 more games to get through here, and it's just a really fun slate so far. Mets and Astros, 7.5 total in this game. Brown against Scherzer. Houston a 130 favorite here against Scherzer. Max is 8,800, coming off an atrocious start. As soon as we thought he was back, just got absolutely
shellacked
by the Yankees. It wasn't even it was the B squad. He was massive chalk that day. They were rolling out the B squad, and it just wasn't a good day for Scherzer. So, and what's really crazy is the advanced stats lined up with him just absolutely getting rocked. It wasn't even like he got unlucky. I think that, I don't know. It was just a bad start.
Yeah.
Houston is an offense where I feel like you can pick on them. I'm not saying it's an all-in max spot for me, but dude, 8,800 for a guy that we just paid 9,800 for against the Yankees a few days ago, it feels like. Seems like a spot. Abreu's strikeout numbers are still really high. The bottom half with Jolts, Pena, McCormick, and Maldonado. There's a ton of strikeouts at the bottom half of this lineup. It's not your typical Houston lineup with Alvarez out. It's a much beatable lineup. It was the same thing that we were talking about with Altuve out. You take one piece out of this lineup, and it's just not the same. So, kind of like Scherzer today, after he just disappointed everybody a week ago. It's hard for me not to have interest in Scherzer at 8,800 on the slate.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, Steve, I haven't checked scores and odds yet or anything like that to kind of get my process started for the prop game.
Not up yet.
But my assumption is he's at 5.5, maybe 6.5 on a stretch today. And I'm telling you people right now, if Scherzer comes in at 5.5, just go ahead and hit it. So soon as it hits some books, if that's the case. 6.5 feels right. 5.5 also feels right if they adjust down too far based on this Yankee start. I'm not sure which way they're going to lean, but I can assure you it's 5.5 or 6.5. Let's go with that. I'm saying
I think it comes in 6.5.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. 6.5 feels like where we will line up, and at 8,800, basically what you're saying is he's too cheap, and that's how I'm going to play this today. Scherzer's too cheap. We just saw him. He rattled off 2 30-point games back to back. Went into Atlanta. He was cruising in Atlanta, Steven, and then just middle of the inning just gave up too many runs and didn't quite make it out. But we saw the strikeouts. What happens in the Yankees game is he got shellacked and we didn't see the strikeouts, right? So I think in Houston, even if he gives up a couple runs, I think the strikeouts are there by virtue of the lineup situation. I'm in on Scherzer today at 8,800. We've seen the strikeout stuff come back up to Steve over the past 30 days versus the season. And I don't think it's noise. I think it's just him kind of getting back into a rhythm. I'm in on Scherzer at 8,800.
Me too. I mean, it could end terribly again, and that's fine. I mean, it happens, right? But the price just seems really good for a guy that started to really find his groove again. And the Yankees, I mean, they just hit him again. Like the advanced stats just say that like he got hit really hard.
Yeah.
If we look at his season strikeout number, it's 26.5. If we look at the last 30 days, it's 31.1. The swinging
That's what I'm
strike rate.
saying.
Yeah, the swinging strike rate has gone up almost 2% in that time period. So I mean, yeah, ton of interest for me in Scherzer in this spot. The stats back it up. And like, who's their other lefty? It's Tucker. We know he'll be in the lineup, but
Yep.
where else do they get left-handed against Max Scherzer, one of the best pitchers in baseball against right-handed pitching or hitting? I mean,
I don't know.
I'm looking at the lineup, I'm looking at the roster, and I might be missing something here, but they're a very, very right-handed heavy offense. I mean, I did not realize like how right-handed they are.
Well, Stevie, that's the thing too, right? Like even from the beginning of the season, we were talking about how much worse they were against right-handed pitching this season.
Yeah,
and how much better they were
right-handed
against lefties. Yeah, there's just they don't have enough platoon advantage.
Dude, I love this spot for Scherzer.
It's incredible.
I'm with you. I'm with you on the prop. I can't wait to see it. I've looked multiple places that usually have like strike like props up in general early. Nobody has it up yet. Love this spot. Scherzer might be my highest owned pitcher today.
I did see. I caught a glimpse of the chat where Travis asked, "Was I in on any Scherzer K props?" I'm going to be in at 5.5 or 6.5 today. Like
I think I'm in at 6.5 too, buddy.
Yeah,
I'm with you. They're too right-handed. Like his strikeout stuff has still been really good against righties in his struggles, but like 38.5% over the last 30 days against righties. Swinging strike rate up to 19.5%. Like they're too right-handed. Tucker can hit 2 home runs in this game, and Scherzer could still strike out 10 and dominate this price.
Yeah.
Let's go to the other side of this game. Hunter Brown, 10-2, highest priced pitcher on the slate. Over the weekend, Polar Bear came back. Mets lineup getting healthier. This is such a tough lineup in general against right-handed pitching. Do we think Hunter Brown is too expensive today? Do we think he's playable in large field tournaments maybe?
I think playable in large field. I also think he's too expensive. What I'm saying, just in this game, Stevie, he's 10-2 and Scherzer's 8,800. Like that's really all you need to know. I think you've got Paxton at 9,300, so playable, but he's also too expensive.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I think like it's one of those scenarios where you're like, do I really want to pay this price for him? And you're like, yeah, I mean, probably do want to take some shots.
I mean, the Mets offense can Jekyll and Hyde you any day of the week. Like, I also know that.
Well, I want to know, like, also, it's so hard. Like, Hunter Brown is, like, a tough one here night before because, like, if he's going to get a lot of ownership, I mean, I am down to fade.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm definitely going to do a 20 entry max. I'm on Grinders Live tomorrow, too, and I
think I'm on Grinders Live tomorrow.
I mean, yeah, we're gonna. Are you on Grinders Live tomorrow too?
Stevie, this is gonna be amazing.
We'll have our full research done and talk props for an hour. We'll drive Dean crazy. That'd be perfect. All right. Bats in this game. Any interest in the Mets here?
I'm on next week, Stevie. Not this week. But you're on next week too, so it doesn't matter.
All right.
Yeah, so
there you go. We can do it next Monday. We'll just drive them crazy next Monday.
Yeah. Maybe some one-off, Stevie. Like, I'm not thrilled about this Mets offense today. I'm not. I don't think I'm playing the Mets. I might one-off Brandon Nimmo or something like that, or McNeil, like just as a cheap piece to get in last piece in. But I don't think I'm stacking the Mets for what it's worth. I think that's
Hunter Brown has been really good this year. Big ground balls. His hard hit rate is what I'm attacking, right? Like he has a 50% hard hit rate on the season. So like if I'm attacking Hunter Brown, I'm attacking the hard hit rate. So I mean Pete Alonso would be up towards the top of my list. Pete Alonso, his price because he's been out is 5,200 seems super fair for Pete Alonso in this spot. So
yeah.
All right. Any Houston bats that you like on the other side of this game?
Tucker, and that's it.
Tucker,
and he's the only one.
All right. I think my mouse just died, but we're gonna power on to the last game here, and I'll get it fixed. Padres, Giants, Waka, and Walker facing off against each other. Any interest here in Waka?
Man, Waka's been kind of an interesting revelation, Stevie. Like, it's almost like he's going to get his quality start, and then you're at the mercy of how many strikeouts he picks up. I don't hate it against San Francisco. I think I'm okay with Waka today at 8,300. Especially when you look at the overall landscape of pitching, you got, kind of some two bullpen games, and then, between Waka and Heaney, I'm going to tell you right now, I think I'd side with Waka over Heaney today. The only problem for me with Waka is Max Scherzer is 500 more. And so if I want to play Paxton, I'm probably going to play Scherzer over Waka. And so I like Waka. I don't love Waka. I think he ends up in the pool against San Francisco.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's okay.
Right.
Like I'm switching my mouse switch, and like it's always interesting when you go from like one mouse to the other. He's been great recently. Great matchup against Cleveland. Last time out, pitched fantastic in Seattle. Struck out a lot against the Cubs. He has to be on the list today at 8,300. Again, like we don't have a ton of options. Like I don't even know if you necessarily have to go under Waka because of Scherzer's price, because of Paxton's price. So I don't even know, like with Lopez in this range too, Kelly kind of right here. Like I don't know if you really have to go. I don't think you really have to go below this, man. So Walker is going to open. Junis is going to be the long reliever. I would assume 30 to 60 pitches, 2 to 3 innings, maybe 4 innings at most. Bullpen situation. I don't want to touch this situation either way. It doesn't matter.
Nope. Yep.
Let's talk San Diego bats. Tough ballpark. Any interest here in the Padres?
Yeah, man. My boy Juan Soto. I mean, Stevie, just fantasy point du jour, man. Just cranks out fantasy points. He's going to hit a lot of home runs, but he's just going to do all the other things. Take some walks, get some runs, steal a base, hit a double. Tatis has been pretty good as well, along with Xander Bogaerts. Like, Machado's been okay. He's 5K. Cronenworth, all these guys. I don't mind stacking them today, even in this bullpen game. I think their offense is okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're stackable. I hate bullpen game stacks, kind of what we were talking about with Texas. They're not like my favorite things in the world, but yeah, I mean, I think you could definitely take some shots here. The Giants, I mean, the Giants are probably going to be one of those teams that like stack or fade. Like I'll have some Giants stacks if I run like a 20-incher max, but like I'm not going out of my way to play like one-offs here against Walker. He's been too good recently. Haniger's on the IL. JD Davis is dealing with like an ankle injury. So like you're not getting a full Schmidt's been hurt. Like you're not getting a full Giants lineup. And that's kind of why I have a lot of interest in Walker on the other side.
Yep. I'm with you 100%.
All right, let's play the morning grind game. Mouse is back up and working. Well, my other mouse is both of them are working. It's very interesting now. Anyway, under 8K to get 6 or more strikeouts. Who do you got today?
Give me Bitto.
I'll go Heaney. Over 8K to score under 15. Who's your bust today?
Give me Corbin Burns.
Ooh, all right. I mean, I don't hate that call. Give me Pablo Lopez. I almost said Hunter Brown. Either
I get it.
over 4K to go yard. Who's hitting a home run today?
Man, I don't want to go with the obvious guy, but I think I'm gonna go with the obvious guy today. Give me Corey Seager at 6K.
All right. I'm going to go Spencer Steer for the Cincinnati Reds.
You're going to hear something interesting here in a second.
Under 4K to get 2 hits. Who do you got?
Nick Senzel.
I like it a lot. He's cheap. I'll go Connor Joe. I've been talking about him. He's been fantastic against left-handed pitching this season. He's been awful against righties, so you're hoping to get his production early. Stack to score 6 or more runs. Who's getting the job done today?
I'm going to go slightly off the board here, Stevie. Give me the Pittsburgh Pirates against Smiley.
I like it. I'm going to go off the board, too. Give me the Rockies. The worst team in baseball against left-handed pitching.
I like it.
61 WRC plus, second fewest home runs. Give me the worst team in baseball against left-handed pitching. That's how much I think Williamson is going to struggle. I really want Williamson to be decent, but I mean, everything I've seen out of him so far is he just struggles. So yeah, give me the Rockies. Gosh, building a Rocky stack is not going to be fun. It's just going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly and ugly and ugly. You're going to play guys like Brenton Doyle, and you're just not going to feel good about it at all. You're just going to be like, all right, do your thing. Yep. Do your thing. I mean, that's all you can hope for here. So, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Negative, man. Thanks a bunch. Great show. Had a ton of fun, and I can't wait to see how this thing unfolds tomorrow.
All right, that's going to wrap it up here for Monday. If you haven't already, subscribe to the RotoGrinders Morning Grind YouTube page. Yes. Subscribe to the RotoGrinders Morning Grind YouTube page if you haven't already. Appreciate it. Yeah, man, let's have some fun. I'll be on Grinders Live later today. We'll be on Take Your Pick'em on 10:30 a.m. Eastern on Grinders Live YouTube, or not Grinders Live YouTube, RotoGrinders YouTube, and the live page on RotoGrinders. We'll be back tomorrow talking baseball. Have a fantastic Monday. We'll see you all tomorrow.